New York is one of the most powerful states in America, but you wouldn't know it from looking at the northern half. Drive a few hours from Manhattan, and the skyscrapers vanish, replaced by empty factories, boarded-up diners, and homes nobody wants anymore. This isn't a fluke. Millions have left upstate New York in the past few decades, and they're not coming back. The jobs are gone, the taxes are sky high, and winter here, it doesn't play around. So what happened to the region that once helped build America? And more importantly, why is almost nobody choosing to stay? Let's find out. Reason number 1, manufacturing left and took the jobs. Upstate New York was once an industrial powerhouse. Buffalo had Steel, Rochester had Kodak, Binghamton had IBM. These towns weren't just dots on a map, they were the backbone of American innovation. Then the 1982nd hit. Factories shut down, jobs moved overseas, entire industries evaporated seemingly overnight. Kodak went from 60,000 employees in Rochester to a shadow of its former self. IBM pulled out of Endicott, the town where it was founded, and Bethlehem Steel, gone, along with 20,000 paychecks. This wasn't just economic loss, it was identity loss. Neighborhoods emptied, schools closed, people packed up and left, not because they wanted to, but because they had to. What replaced it? Low-wage retail, temporary gigs, a whole lot of help wanted signs, and not much hope. Upstate New York's economic engine stalled decades ago, and it never restarted. Reason number 2, high taxes, low paychecks. If you think living in a small town means paying less, not in New York. Upstate residents deal with some of the highest property taxes in the U.S. Schenectady County, over $5,000 a year on average. Westchester is worse, but here's the catch. People in Upstate don't earn NYC salaries. The cost of living feels like Manhattan, but the wages feel like Mississippi. You'll pay high income tax. You'll pay local school taxes, even if the schools are half empty. And then there's heating costs, vehicle costs, even local fees that just keep adding up. Many people here work 2 jobs and still struggle to stay afloat. Retirees are quietly fleeing to states like Florida or Pennsylvania. Young families, they're doing the math and leaving before they ever buy a home. It's not that people don't want to stay, it's that they can't afford to. Reason number 3, weather that wears you down. If you haven't lived through a lake effect winter, you don't know cold. Upstate New York doesn't just get snow, it drowns in it. Buffalo saw over 100 inches in one storm. Syracuse averages 120+ inches per year. That's 10 feet of snow every year. But it's not just the snow. It's the gray skies that last for weeks. The wind that freezes your breath before you speak. The roads that turn to ice, then slush, then ice again. Winter doesn't end in February. Some towns are still digging out in April, and every home needs a plow guy, a backup generator, and $500 a month for heating oil. For seniors, it's exhausting. For working families, it's expensive. And for newcomers, it's a reality check. Weather like this wears you down, not in one big storm, but slowly, week after week, year after year. And for some, it's reason enough to leave. Reason number 4, a housing market that tricks you. At first glance, upstate New York looks like a homebuyer's dream. You'll see listings for $70,000, whole houses for less than a down payment in the city. But there's a catch, a big one. These homes are cheap for a reason. Many are 80 to 100 years old. They come with lead paint, old wiring, sagging roofs, and drafty windows. You're not just buying a house, you're buying a project. And in a climate where winters last half the year, bad insulation means you're burning hundreds each month just to stay warm. Some of these towns have crumbling water systems, pothole-covered roads, and little funding for repairs. Contractors are scarce, materials are expensive. A fixer-upper can quickly eat through your entire savings. And that $800 mortgage? It means nothing when your furnace breaks, your pipes freeze, and your taxes are climbing anyway. The real cost of living here hides behind those Zillow prices, and too many people find out too late. Reason number 5, the youth are gone. Upstate New York still has colleges, SUNY schools, private universities, liberal arts campuses, tucked into quiet towns. The classrooms are full. But graduation is the goodbye party, not the beginning of life here. Because after they get that degree, most students pack up and head straight for NYC, Boston, or out of state entirely. Why? Because Upstate offers few jobs in tech, media, or the creative industries. There's no Silicon Valley, no booming film scene, no major headquarters drawing fresh talent in. For young people, opportunity means leaving. And as they go, they leave behind an aging population, one that needs more healthcare, more services, more support, but has fewer working-age people to provide it. Towns shrink, local economies slow down, and the communities that once raised families now struggle to sustain even basic services. It's not that youth don't want to stay, they just don't see how they can. Reason number 6, small towns, big problems. The postcard version of small-town Upstate is charming, church steeples, diners, mom-and-pop stores. But the reality in many places? It's far more bleak. Drug addiction is rampant. Opioids and fentanyl have quietly devastated rural communities. Overdose rates in some counties rival urban areas without the resources to fight back. Poverty is rising. With jobs scarce and wages low, many residents rely on food stamps, heating assistance, or seasonal work just to get by. In some towns, nearly 1 in 4 people live below the poverty line. Schools are shrinking. Districts consolidate. Buses travel farther. Programs get cut. A high school sports team might mean combining 3 neighboring towns just to make a roster. Main streets? Many are ghost towns. Boarded up storefronts, fading signs, and Dollar Generals, the only retail chain that seems to be expanding. There's still pride here and resilience, but the problems run deep and few outsiders ever see them. Reason number 7, too far from the action. For much of upstate New York, it's not just physical distance, it's economic and cultural isolation. Albany might be the capital, but it's not exactly booming. Government jobs are limited, private sector growth is slow, and cities like Syracuse, Binghamton, and Utica, they've seen better days. There's no Wall Street, no Broadway, no Fortune 500 headquarters driving massive employment, and unlike NYC, Upstate isn't packed with creative industries or rapid innovation. For many residents, the real action feels 4 or 5 hours away and out of reach. Even politically, the divide is stark. New York City dominates elections and policy decisions, but Upstate's needs, rural broadband, small-town healthcare, farming support, often feel ignored. It's not just about money, it's about voice, relevance, and being seen. And when you're too far from the action, in every sense, it's easy to feel like your future was decided by someone else, somewhere else. Reason number 8, who still stays and why. Not everyone leaves. Some people never will. You'll find retirees drawn to the peace and quiet, nature lovers who wake up to mountain trails and fall foliage, and multi-generational families whose roots run deeper than any highway. These are the people who make up the tight-knit communities that still thrive, even as the economy around them struggles. They hold on to local traditions, volunteer at town fairs, and shovel their neighbor's driveway without being asked. And yes, the landscapes are stunning, lakes that mirror the sky, forests that explode with color. For many, that is enough. But even the proudest locals will tell you, it's getting harder. Taxes rise, services shrink, young people leave. And that quiet life? It sometimes comes with loneliness, aging infrastructure, and a sense that the world has moved on. Staying is a choice, and for those who stay, it's not about convenience, it's about commitment. Upstate New York was once a powerhouse, mills, factories, booming towns. Now, it's a region full of stories, some proud, some painful, and many still unfolding. Is Upstate being left behind, Or is it just in the middle of a transformation nobody's figured out yet? We want to hear from you. Would you live in a place like this? Does the peace and space outweigh the struggle? Drop a comment, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into the places America is quietly forgetting.